My name is Sophia. I am 29 years old. I signed my divorce papers on a rainy afternoon. The ink on the paper looked darker than it should have. I had been a wife for almost 2 years, but I had never truly felt like one. I used to believe that patience would make love stronger. I believed waiting would make everything pure and meaningful. I believed marriage would naturally bring closeness. I did not know then that closeness must be learned. I grew up in a small apartment above my parents' grocery shop. My mother woke up early morning. My father counted money late into the night. They loved me in careful ways, fresh meals, ironed clothes, quiet smiles. But we never spoke about feelings. No one talked about relationships or marriage. Those subjects stayed hidden behind polite silence. I learned early that good daughters do not ask difficult questions. They behave well, they listen, they wait. So I waited. I met Oliver at a friend's birthday dinner when I was 26. He sat across the table from me and laughed easily. His voice was warm, his eyes were calm. When he spoke, he made people feel comfortable. He asked me about my job. He listened carefully to my answers. Many people talked just to fill silence. Oliver spoke slowly, like every word mattered. That night he walked me home. He did not try to impress me, he simply stayed beside me. For the first time, I felt peaceful around someone new. Our relationship grew quietly. We meet for coffee after work, we walk through parks in the evening. Sometimes we talked for hours about small things, favorite foods, childhood memories, plans for the future. Oliver respected my boundaries without asking questions. When he held my hand, he did it carefully, like holding something delicate. I told myself this was what love looked like, safe, calm, respectful, but inside me something stayed distant. One winter evening, Oliver asked me to marry him. Snow covered the sidewalks, the air was cold and clear. He stood in front of me with nervous eyes. He did not kneel dramatically. He simply asked softly, Sophia, will you build a life with me? My heart raced. I said yes, not because I was certain, but because I believed certainty would come later. Our wedding was simple and warm. Soft music played in a small hall. Friends and family surrounded us. My mother cried quietly during the ceremony. My father hugged Oliver longer than expected. Everyone said we looked perfect together. They said we were lucky. I smiled and nodded. Inside, I felt something I could not name. That night, the hotel room felt unfamiliar. The bed looked too large. Oliver sat beside me and spoke gently. He asked if I felt comfortable. I told him yes, but my body felt stiff and distant. My thoughts moved too fast. I told myself this moment was normal. I told myself I should feel ready, but I did not. Oliver noticed my hesitation. He said softly that we could take our time. Relief washed over me, but shame followed close behind it. Days passed, then weeks. Our life looked normal from the outside. We cooked dinner together, we watched movies on weekends, we talked about work, but something important was missing. At night, when closeness approached, I felt fear instead of warmth. My mind pulled away. Oliver remained patient. But patience slowly turned into quiet sadness. One evening, Oliver asked a simple question, Are you happy with me? The question felt heavier than it should have. I wanted to say yes, but the words stayed trapped inside my throat. I realized then that I had never learned how to understand my own feelings. I know how to be polite, I know how to behave, but I did not know how to be emotionally open. Eventually, I began seeing a counselor. The first visit felt uncomfortable. Talking about personal feelings felt unfamiliar, but slowly the words come. I spoke about my childhood, about silence, about how love had always been shown quietly but never discussed. The counselor explained something important. Sometimes people grow up learning how to behave correctly, but they never learn how to feel safely. That realization changed everything. I shared what I learned with Oliver. We sat at the kitchen table from a long time. He listened without interrupting. His eyes were kind but tired. He told me he cared deeply about me, but he also said something honest. He needed a marriage that felt emotionally alive, not just peaceful. That night, we both understood something. Sometimes two good people still cannot build the life they imagined. Months later, we decided to separate. There was no longer no arguments, just quiet understanding. The divorce process was simple paperwork, signatures, silence. When it ended, I walked outside into bright sunlight. I felt strangely calm. Life after divorce felt unfamiliar at first. The apartment was quieter, but the silence felt different. It was not heavy. It felt open. I continued counseling. Slowly, I began understanding my own emotions. I learned that waiting alone does not prepare someone for love. Love requires communication, courage. One evening, I sat by my window with a cup of tea. The city lights shimmered outside. I placed my hand over my heart and felt my breathing slow. The first time I felt something new, not regret, not shame, understanding. My marriage had not been wasted. It had been a lesson. I still think about Oliver sometimes, not with sadness, but with gratitude. We both tried our best with what we know. Now I am learning something new every day. How to speak honestly, how to listen to my own heart, how to allow closeness instead of fearing it. I am not rushing my life anymore. The future will come in its own time, and this time I will be ready to meet it.